Alright guys, I wanted to make a video about taking apart these old Datsun calipers. You can see I took apart one of them and I learned some stuff and I thought it would be helpful to share. These are old and so yeah, they don't come apart easy, and I've been launching these stupid pistons all over my garage with air pressure, and you can see it's all tore up. These are the ones of the first ones I took out, but man was it stubborn. It took a lot to get it out, but I kind of learned some stuff, so let's see if I can see if the other one's side is just as bad, and show you how I kind of got them loose, because it wasn't easy. But there's no way I can hold the caliper still and put like a wrench on it. So I use this air gun to get that out. And you got your 4 bolts, pretty corroded. And then find there we go. Yeah. These things, car's 50 years old. I can't imagine last time these things were taken apart, if ever, really. So I got some brake fluid here. I would just do this stuff over cardboard, so I end up making a mess. But you got these little clips here. Of course, there's one. I ordered new kits for these little kits. So I also ordered calipers, because once I saw these ones, I kind of knew, like, alright, I'm about to go ahead and order new calipers as well. So got those out, and then the tricky part is getting the pistons out. I don't know if these will be harder or easier than the last ones. Hopefully easier. So give me a little pick. Got these little O-rings right here. The new kits come with new ones. Here's the new seal kit, but it doesn't come with the actual pistons. So but yeah, so getting these things out is kind of, so just pop the little O-ring, the little metal clamp ring off this right here, and then these seals come out pretty easy. And I'll do the same thing to the other one. You gotta find where it's broken, or where it's separated. Man, I don't think these things have been apart since the car was freaking built. That's crazy. There it is. So that one off. Get that off. You can see the rust and corrosion in there. This one isn't as bad, but you can still see the the corrosion and stuff. Good lord, brake fluid's still coming out. Remember, brake fluid is freaking corrosive, so don't get it on clean paint or nothing, because this stuff will eat it right up. So just make sure you... I don't really care about my garage floor, but that's why I always work over cardboard. This stuff is really nasty, so I slide all the old brake pads and corrosion. I think there was like 60,000 original miles on the car, so who knows how long. Alright, so building air pressure. So these pistons are out quite a bit, so but you got to break it loose, and using air pressure can pop them out, but usually when they're corroded, I didn't have any luck. So what I did was I banged them down to kind of break them loose. Like I hit them with the hammer down to kind of break it loose, and then I jolted it sideways back and forth to kind of get it loose, and then the air did it after that. But then you got to be careful, because I launched these pistons across the garage like crazy, and I got a brand new painted Datsun sitting behind me. I was afraid to hit it. I almost thought I did, but luckily I did. But so so I tapped it down. It went down. So then I have to find, so I have these little things right here I use for painting. So like when I paint the car and I want to fill a hole so I don't get paint in the hole, I pop these in there. But these also work really good for clogging up the ports. So you have the ports on here as well to clog up. So when you use the air, gun, it you can clog up the holes. So so you have these two right here, these two holes right here. So what I do is I take these little black things like this, and I shove it in that hole, kind of clog it. It helps me hold the hole closed, so I have that one. Oh, I don't need that, I need to do the air now. But then you gotta be careful, because you don't want to launch the freaking thing around. So it's not launching it, so it's stuck. So what I did, the other one was took some vice grips like this, and I tapped the circle sideways to try to get it to spin a little bit. So blew a little peg out. You guys see that? So there it goes. You gotta be careful, man. Them little things weigh like a pound. I think it's going, man. So I take out this little inner ring right there, and then that's it. I kind of gummed up this one a little bit. I'll take some sandpaper I have here and some steel wool. Make sure it's smooth, make sure the new cylinders can slide. So, feels good. Here's the cylinder. You see it's pretty corroded and rusted and stuff. It's pretty much done. I mean, they're like 20 bucks a piece, but I don't want to put it all back together and have to fart around with it again later. So I'm just gonna get new ones. I already ordered them. But yeah, look how tore up it is. So I'll make sure the inside of this is still good. With some steel wool and some sandpaper and stuff. There's steel wool here. And then I'll clean them, I'll blow them out real good, and I'll probably gonna end up sandblasting these to clean them up. They started to turn up with a wire brush pretty good, but on the old ones, but I'll be there all day probably, so I'll probably end up just doing that. But then here, let's see if I can get the other one. So this one's a little trickier because it has the feed hole there. And so I used one of my little paint things here and I jammed that in there, just like that. And the tricky part is you gotta hold these in because you still have these two holes here, like there and there. So, but remember I gotta tap that in first. I gotta break it loose by hitting the piston down. So I hit it down a bunch. I'm gonna give it a shot. But then you gotta hold the back one in too on these. Maybe I just... There we go. There we go. Didn't even launch it. Alright, I beat this piston up, but look at that. Look, it's all rusted and trashy, and that's the way all these pistons were. These might as well 23 bucks a pop, but I don't usually like to play around and break stuff, so you know, they're all pretty toast, but I think the calipers are still good. I just but that's how I kind of use these little things to help me pop it out and wiggle around and stuff. But yeah, that's how I went about it. Just thought I'd show, and because I watched a couple of videos online, and then they all just stick an air compressor up there and whoop, and they pop right out. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, mine wasn't that easy. So, I mean, maybe if I had a better tip on here or something, I don't know. But that's what I got. So, but yeah, that's how I went about it. So, hopefully, like I said, this is for a 76 280Z. And these are Sumitomo brake calipers. So, I mean, they're original to the car. So, but that's kind of how I went about, you know, getting them off. So, hopefully, this helps somebody in the future, and yeah, hopefully it helps somebody, or at least, and if I'm doing something completely wrong, someone tell me, because I'd like to know a better way than doing that. But the job got done nonetheless. So, all right, thanks for watching.